Hi, and welcome to the Home Video Emporium. I'm your host, my name is Brendan, and with this series what I hope to do is to catalog my entire collection of home video titles and determine which of these movies still belongs amongst my elite and esteemed collection and needs to be preserved for years to come, and which of these movies unfortunately may need to be purged so we can free up some shelf space for some future movies, as there's plenty of movies I'm still looking to get. If Testament of Ann Lee ever comes out in physical media, I'm definitely going to pick that one up. And right now I'm lacking space in my bookshelves here, so we're trying to get rid of about 30 to 50 movies by the end of the series. And if nothing else, we're just going to watch some good movies together, hopefully good ones, and we're going to have a good time. Today's episode, we are doing 1988's They Live, directed by John Carpenter, starring Rowdy Roddy Piper and Keith David. Off the top of my head, I really can't remember when I first saw this. I know it was on DVD. I can't remember if it was a physical store I rented from or Netflix. But then, a few years later, I would get it on Blu-ray probably like 10 years ago. I can't remember exactly where I got it, unfortunately. But the important part is I got it, and it's now part of the series. I did have a chance to watch this movie in 35mm about, I believe, a year and a half, 2 years ago, somewhere around there. I saw it at the Roxy Cinema, which is in the lower basement of the Roxy Hotel, which is a pretty swanky hotel in Tribeca. And downstairs you actually have a 35mm movie theater where I've seen quite a few movies. And we're going to highlight a few more of them as the series go on. Before the movie started, we watched some weird, kind of alternative music video. I had no clue why. We never watched previews. I don't know why we were watching a music video. And then someone stood up in the crowd and said they were the director, and the music video was inspired by They Live. And I had no idea why, so we watched the music video. Excuse me. Watched it again, and I still didn't pick up on the They Live influence at all. So for whatever reason, I watched some alternative video twice before watching this in the cinema. But I think it was worth it. It was a fun movie to see up on the big screen. This one, what separates this, I think, from something like The Thing, which I reviewed two videos ago, is in this one, it is aliens, which I'm not a big fan of the fact that they kind of just reveal, oh yeah, this is aliens. But these aliens, they are still sneaking into society, but they're also recruiting humans. And so it's actually humans who are just for the mighty dollar or willingly joining up with the alien force. Carpenter on this one, instead of building fear and paranoia, he is critiquing stuff, whether he wants to or not. One of the special features on this in a documentary, which was filmed around the time of the shooting, he does mention this, that they are talking about subliminal messaging, advertising, television news, and how they are, in a sense, could be used to brainwash society. And then he at the end kind of just brushes it off and says, but at the end of the day, it's just a fun action movie. So Carpenter was either trying not to act pretentious, or maybe he just didn't really believe at all in what he was saying. But the movie, which does star Piper and Keith David, has the whole thing where they put on the glasses and they see in black and white, and they're able to actually see through the facade of advertising, see through people, and see that they are really these ghouls underneath. And I heard one of the reasons where the black and white comes from when they put the glasses on and they can see in black and white is because this was around the time that they were colorizing old black and white movies, some of which for some reason are still available on Amazon Prime. I think I saw like a DOA and Scarlet Street, which are colorized versions, which I think are really ugly. But they were around and they were doing it at that time. Whether that is what he's saying, or that sometimes the truth can just be looking at it something in black and white, the simplicity of it, and by getting rid of all the distractions, all the noise, and just focusing on the bare basics is how the characters are able to actually see the truth, which is kind of what I'm leaning towards. He's also in the movie's also talking about how you have characters such as the preacher, the hacker, which this movie is actually one of the first movies I've seen where they'll use the term hacker, where they are trying to preach the truth. They were both saying like the society's against them. They're trying to turn people into mindless slaves, and no one's listening. And again, that's saying how the truth is kind of out there, just like the X-Files, but no one is listening. Also, like the X-Files, there is actually an X-Files of this that may have been influenced by this, may have not been, where there's a big hostage situation in an office building where the employee is saying how the owner is really this insect-like creature, and he can see through him in the light. He hides in the light, I think is the phrase. And at the end, Mulder is able to see it too, and the guy almost kills Mulder. But again, that's seeing kind of this big corporation where they are really monsters underneath. I do kind of wish in this that they had not been so on the nose, that the characters actually were from outer space, and it might have been better if they were just humans that had turned into these monsters. But this is a really interesting movie, though. It comes out a year after RoboCop, where Paul Verhoeven certainly that movie had quite a lot to say about critiquing media, critiquing society. As Verhoeven does that much more than Carpenter does. So you had these two movies back to back. When before this year there was like Commando, where they just do machine guns, where we are trying to get a little bit more of it, the intellectual kind of sci-fi action movies that came out in the late 80s and went into the 90s with movies like Total Recall. The special features, you get it was more recent. I think it came out around like 2011. Was an interview with Keith David, where he talked about how he actually had theatrical voice training to do stuff like Shakespeare, and then he was cast in movies like The Thing and They Live, where he's playing very much common man type characters, and he was worried that his much more theatrical voice would be a hindrance, and so he kind of had to learn to talk, kind of lose his affectations. And he also actually thinks that there is a conspiracy about the movie, that it started out like it was going to be a big box office hit and kind of fell off in week 3. And he thinks that maybe some of the big money men may have chopped off this movie's legs, got it out of the theaters because of the messaging in it. Not sure if that's true or not, but that is Keith David's take on this. What are some other good things on this? You have some of the extended TV spots that they watch in this, where at the end where you're seeing advertising, but then the person's face goes away and you can see the ghoul. So that sort of stuff is kind of interesting. And you get the making of at the time. Carpenter talks about how he actually met Roddy Piper at WrestleMania 3, and for some odd reason, Piper made such an impact on him that he thought he would star in the movie. He has like similar hair to Kurt Russell. I don't know if that helped. He doesn't have quite the charisma of Kurt Russell, but I think he does okay with Keith David. I think they have decent chemistry together. There's a reason why Roddy Piper never became an award-winning movie star. He didn't really do much in the theater, but he does serviceable in this. So, even though this movie may not have been a big hit at the time, it has had a big resurgence. The Shepard Fairey artwork, which was inspired by this, probably again helped the movie's resurgence. It has a unique look. It has a unique take with the Obey. So I think in a lot of ways, if you are interested in critiques of the big budget 1980s advertising, I do think this movie is a fun one, as well as having one of the most memorable fight scenes in cinema between Piper and Keith David, where it's just knockdown, drag-out fight. They're both exhausted, they're both hurt, but they keep going. So, have you seen They Live? What do you think about it? Is it still worthy of being in the collection? Is it not worthy of being in the collection? You let me know. And we've got one more John Carpenter movie to go, and then we're going to wrap him up. So, until next time, be kind and rewind to each other, and it's not a true home without home video. Thank you. Goodbye.